Hello, welcome to Nakti by J.N.S. And today we're going to talk about the best skills for the aftermath of the Rona. So once this virus is said and done, what are the skills that will be advantageous for yourself and for even building a community, So we talked about the scenario in which there's a case where there's collapse in society and economy as well, and you basically have to start from scratch in small community pockets, and supply chains are messed up. You won't necessarily be able to travel, jobs are limited, etc., etc. So in that scenario, there are certain skills that will be completely obsolete, and there will be certain skills that will benefit humanity, benefit you, Black American. So we're going to just discuss some of these things that you need to spend the next 3 or 6 months researching, getting as much knowledge and information as you can online, because a lot of things are closed, so you won't be able to necessarily, do a lot of hands-on training. But even if you can have a working knowledge through the mind's eye of learning the material, then you should be good. There's plenty of online material why the internet is still working and why our fiber cables are still connected. We need to spend as much time as we can gaining knowledge. Yes, I know we like watching YouTube and damn Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, and you're on that TikTok, Lord have mercy, but let's raise the vibration to understand that survival is paramount now, and that there are certain things that needs to be attained in your mind's eye so that when shit hit the fan, you can hit the ground running, certain things, or you have other family members that also know certain skills. So as we know, certain skills are going to be obsolete during this time, and many degrees, those college degrees, are going to have to be used as toilet tissue to wipe your ass with. It's as simple as that. And I'm not hating because I got degrees, okay? So I'm not one of those people that's trying to hate on other people with degrees. I just know that a lot of what that time we spent in the Citadel, learning, depending on the major, it's going to be completely obsolete in the days to come, with the exception of few. And believe it or not, those vocational skills, those trade skills are going to come back into the forefront as far as your infrastructure and your electricity and your plumbing. Those things, believe it or not, are going to become paramount for very particular reasons. Okay? So again, spend the next 6 months learning as much as you can about these skills to be prepared to build your own community of like-minded individuals only. And again, there's going to be many among us that this falls on deaf ears. They will thwart any efforts of building, of any responsibility, accountability. They will thwart those efforts. They are brainwashed to self-destruct. They don't like anything, even though they are melanated, they don't like anything melanated doing anything productive. It's a programming. It is a informational download that they have inserted into their brain, mind's eye, to self-destruct. Okay? And they will get sacrificed by this system. They're trying to help. They done killed their God consciousness, so they trying to kill yours as well. So they must be avoided. And this could very well mean anywhere to 40% to 70% of us. You never know the percentage. I done talked about it with a lot of, other people who have the like mind as me. And we all have different opinions of how this stuff goes. But unfortunately, many of them will get left behind. Okay? And another thing, I want to give a disclaimer and a caveat to the Black woman. The creator, come on, the Black woman. You need to know that these skills are going to be important for you as well, because a lot of these things that I'm going to say, they're going to sound like, oh, that's something that men should be worried about, or those are things that men do to build. Well, nothing has been built for you in the last 500 years, so don't expect it during these times either. And in the words of Neely Fuller, Black women, you are on your own. You don't have a first line of defense. You know, you had a first line of defense in ancient times. We talking about during the times of the oracles and the queen mothers. We would do plenty of videos discussing a breakdown of how that fell apart, what that was all about, and how it led to us being in this position that we are in now. And yes, you had something to do with it, and yes, your sons had something to do with it. That is not the topic of this video, but you have to understand that your subconscious mind that is hung up on the men gonna build, you need to let that go. You should have been let it go, but you're really gonna have to wake up. You're gonna have to really, really wake up. And I'm not saying that you're building for anybody else, but I'm saying that the skills that I'm listing, you need to know for yourself, for your own survival and the survival of your bloodlines. And again, other like-minded individuals. We not trying to sacrifice ourselves for nobody. We ain't muling for nobody. We are looking out for our bloodlines and for like-minded individuals only. People who will understand the same way we think. Okay? So again, you don't have a first line of defense. So pretty much if you got sons under 15, you want to show them this information because they can still be indoctrinated under dark feminine wisdom. The dark feminine wisdom which governs the entire laws of the universe, which many people have forgotten and many people have been brainwashed to hate. And we can prove that is what's running the universe. Stuff that's been taken out of the Bible, stuff that's in the Rig Veda, stuff that's in the Upanishads, stuff that's in the Quran, stuff that is in the I Ching. Again, I can just list every major text, religious text, or a pantheon, including ancient Egypt, which talks about the things of the dark feminine wisdom, and we will do other breakdowns of that information. That's not the video for today. If anybody is offended by that or they feel slighted by that, then they clearly are out of their mind and this is not for them. But for you, Black woman, again, this is the caveat, this is the disclaimer. Do not go into this video thinking that these skills, you're gonna go and tell your uncle, or you're gonna go and tell your boyfriend who you got 3 kids by and all this nonsense. You know, don't think that they're gonna be the ones that's gonna absorb this information. You need to be the ones that have it in your mind's eye. Anything that I'm saying, you better pick one of these subjects and have a working knowledge in them. And those who have like-minded mindset as you, that's who you need to be trying to build with. But again, for the last 500 years, we've seen how everything has looked for you in particular, and who has abandoned you and what has been done to you societally, globally, locally, whatever. So you're the ones that need to really perk your ear up, creator, Black woman. Okay, and we were going to get into your role and your position in this universe of who you are in later videos. And we're going to do it same with the Black man. But again, your role is paramount to the governing aspects of this entire universe. And everybody just has brainwashed you into believing that you're not. And other people have been brainwashed, particularly Black men, into hating that position that you have. And being the foot soldiers and making sure that you're kind of brainwashed into forgetting who you are. So that was a tangent, but I needed to say it because I know you're gonna literally think that the rebuilding is not going to look the way you think it is. Of course, the way we would love it to look like. You know, the traditional family, the traditional pedagogy that we known for the last 10,000 years. The traditional things, that it's not going to look like that, unfortunately, because you have a transplanted programming within our community. It's like an implant. You know, it's like how you get a breast implant. An implant inserted into the consciousness of many among us, women and men, to self-destruct, to hate themselves and to hate you, to hate anything melanated that's talking about we about to do something productive. They are on a mission. It's like a drone. Okay? So you need to understand that when I talk about these critical skills, don't be thinking you got to save everybody. You got to save yourself. Everybody responsible for their own salvation. And if you could find people you resonate with, and that, in other words, your vibration is aligned, then obviously those are the people you need to link up with. But don't stress yourself worrying about stragglers and demoniac rims, as well as shaitanis. Do not stress yourself. Let it rock, let it go. Don't just understand that you're going to see a lot of hurtful things in the days to come. A lot of people getting sacrificed. A lot of people losing their entire life. You're going to see a lot of that, including people in your family. And you need to be okay with it, because the will must be done. You know, this thing done happened. And what you have to understand, that there are multiple planes to the universe, multiple planes to vibration and resonance. So what you may see as humans trying to carry out something on a physical agenda, or, you know, subhumans, or even ethereal beings who trying to portray themselves as humans, they done created this scenario to where, you know, and I'm talking about the pandemic, obviously, the Rona pandemic, you know, whether this was a physical agenda of a personal manifestation, you know, and by that I mean intentional, purposeful, or a very well freak of accident. You have different substratums of different planes on the universe to counteract it, to work with it, to turn the tides. So don't think that what looks like catastrophe or nuisance, rather, just a general nuisance, don't think there's not a silver lining in it, there's not a lesson in it, and there's not a blessing in it, because that's how it works. Everything is with contrast. You cannot have the good in life if you don't take the bad, and vice versa. So right now, life is like the Wheel of Fortune. 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down. Right now, the whole entire human race is looking, you know, a little downward, you know. But just know, just like that Wheel of Fortune, you turn it, then boom, you know. So that's nature. So don't get distraught about damn nature. Accept it and be in tune with nature. That's all I gotta say. Be in tune. So there are very specific reasons why our community looks the way it looks, and you will either have two choices. You would either wake up, and that's kind of the history of our community, where we wait till we get to the last damn minute, then we put in the work to kind of you know, survive. So I'm expecting that with the few of us, again, if you rocking with me, Dark Feminine Wisdom, and a certain set of kafame, certain doctrines that you are aware of, certain esoteric information that you have knowledge of self. Know thyself is the game changer. So if you have that knowledge, then you're on the right track. You know, but for those who do not have the same resonance as us, then things are not. It's going to get real heavy out here. And with that said, here are the skills that are going to be crucial during the aftermath of the Rona, and during, to an extent, that you want to spend the next 3 to 6, as long as we got the internet going, and as long as there's not a complete breakdown, you want to just spend your time daily learning one of these skills that are passionate to you. And if you feel that there is something else that society will need as far as community building, then add it to the comment section, and state your reasons why. That's all you need to do, is state why you think this is going to be important and the skill itself, and pretty much people are the judge of that. And even with the knowledge that I have, it's pretty much down to the basics. It's stripped down to the basics without all the fancy stuff, but taking into account the things that have happened and the trajectory of many industries, of where they were going, and just many industries that will completely become obsolete. So that is what this video is based on. So the first skill that we have is carpentry, woodworking 101, simple woodworking. Don't they say, what's it, Jesus' father was a carpenter or something like that? So the woodworking. And there will be a demand for infrastructure, because people are going to lose, these landlords, they're going to start taking back their homes that people renting, you know, and people not going to be able to pay for them. And that's why they're taking them back. And the banks going to be taking back a lot of these homes. Why? Because people are going to foreclose. So your very way of sheltering and putting a roof over your head is going to be based in wood making and so many other things for wood making. You know, you got your desk, you got your chairs, wood making. Because again, when there is a complete collapse, when you got to start from damn scratch, and you know, you may be one of those people that was a renter. It's a lot of renters. You know, I'm renting too. So when you're paying your rent and you can't afford your rent anymore, do you have the wood making skills to build you a bushcraft shelter or an A-frame shelter out there? We're one of them real nice A-frames, you know. Do you have the wood making skills to, or someone that's connected that can build you a little something for a little barter? Okay, so you're gonna want to know your carpentry. And then in the new normal, or the new way of life, them carpentry skills are going to be paramount. Because again, even in the sense where you don't have to start from scratch, say we take it to a more macro level, we know that our infrastructure is about 50 years behind the rest of the world in many, you know, in as far as first world development. You know, so we're behind as far as our bridges. I think they're a grade D, you know, out of the A, B, C, D, F, what that you get. A lot of our bridges are at a D. A lot of our buildings are at a D. So trust me, any type of carpentry skill, architecture skill, again, if you're macro level, you're thinking on that level that things are not going to necessarily just fully collapse, then you want to talk about your architecture. But when it's down to the basics, then it's your wood making. Just your very way of putting something over your head, or making a bench or something to sit on. So your wood making is going to be very, very, very crucial. So there's woodworking centers, woodworking courses that you can take online. So you want to get some type of basic, again, hopefully you're photographic, you know, as far as your memory. If you do not have photographic memory where you can look at something once and just it's always there with you, you're going to have to take pictures. You're going to need to take some pictures. You're going to need to, you know, maybe even draw things, write things down while you're learning this information, because it's most likely going to be online. Let's be real. So then your next critical skill is plumbing. Now that is for obvious reasons why plumbing would be paramount. And we already know that the virus gets in the sewage water. And when the water pipes are connected to the actual drinking, then there's a possibility of it getting into the water. So again, plumbing skills, whether it's on a macro level and we need to redo all of the country's pipes, because that is a possibility, you're going to want to know how to do your plumbing. Or if there is, again, collapse in society, the micro level, you're going to want to know people who have plumbing skills, who can come to your house and fix your plumbing or fix the little drainage and stuff you're going to get. Because I'm telling you, Black community, you're not going to be able to, you know, you don't have the leverage to just go and demand other people to kind of help you out, because it's not going to be like that. You're really going to be on your own, and you're really going to have to know skills to survive. So plumbing is going to be the next one, because again, we may have to start digging irrigation stuff, like how they was doing in Egypt. Remember, they started digging irrigation for the Nile. You might have to know how to do those irrigations and connect it to the very house that you're in. See, I don't have any idea about what plumbing is. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not interested in it, so that wouldn't be one of the critical skills that I pick. But I'm telling you, plumbing is going to be a big deal. So if you're already a plumber, you head of the game. Because I'm telling you, these skills that we thought were basic or mundane, they're going to rise to the forefront during this time when this virus is getting into septic tanks and all this crap, and when people can't necessarily afford their rent and they need to know how to build their own shelter. So all of these things are going to be important skills. The next important skill is your electricity. Again, that's another basic one. People was damn near taking electricity classes in high school. I know I was learning how to do welding. I had learned how to do welding and hook up electric boards in high school, and that was one of the ones we kind of looked down on, some of us, not everybody, but the electric engineer, or they're going to be in hot demand for when you need to rebuild your own shit again. And when they cut it off, you need to know how to rebuild it because it's coming. Okay? Again, this is for the scenario that I gave you where there is when there is a complete collapse in society and economy. So communities that are often marginalized don't get aid as they need. So if the electric company come and cut your stuff off, or come and cut all these things, you need to know what we need to have some electricians. So spend the next couple of months. There's online courses for electrician. So, and there's some of them are free, and then you can just also YouTube basic electric, because even if you can't get something really advanced, at least it's something to keep the lights on. So then the next one, and this is for something that is definitely on the way, that is more so becoming the way of life for us, but we don't know how this Rona is going to affect the rollout of automation. So you got your artificial intelligence and you have your IT. Those are also going to be skills as far as programming these apparatuses that become very important. So we know that everything is being automated, jobs are being lost. So people who can program AIs and robots, your software engineers, your people who know Python, Ruby, Java, C++, all of that, all the programming skills, there's so many of them, and I have friends that know about 10 programming languages. They're African, of course, but African American, you want to get on there on Code Academy and Code Tree Academy. I got Treehouse Academy. I think that's one of the names of the coding schools. There's so many things. General Assembly offers a coding school. All this stuff is online. Hack Reactor. You want to get on there and try to learn you some type of skill as far as one of these programming languages, if it's your passion, because you don't want to be forced to do. You're going to half-ass it if you don't have no passion for it. But anybody that always wanted to get into IT, they always wanted to get into automation, and we know that things are being automated. They're automating grocery delivery damn near. They're trying to automate medical diagnosis and all types of things, self-driving cars, all these things that, especially with the time of this virus, they're going to really use this as a reason to roll out all of the robotic entities that are going to complete human tasks. So if you know that, if you have the passion for learning any type of IT or artificial intelligence, programming, machine learning, all of that stuff, then you want to look up courses, a nice course about Java or JavaScript or C++ or Python or Ruby, game development, which oftentimes uses Python and Java Play Canvas, I believe, for your game development. All these things that virtual reality, all this stuff that's coming into play. And that is kind of my background. I focus more on web development, and I did teach myself like HTML, CSS, like the real easy type programming, but it's not my passion. I'm not going to lie. Even when I tried to teach myself Java and Python, it was, I did it, but it was dreadful. So again, that's the next skill. The next one is your soap making. Now that's the one that I really like. Soap making. People are going to always want to wash their ass and make sure that their body is clean. And if the store closes, the psychological behavior of washing your ass will increase because of the virus itself. So it's psychological to want to go take a bar of soap and wash your ass with it. Let's be real. Some of us been taking 2 and 3 showers a day when we found out this happened. I know people personally who taking more showers because of this. And with soap, obviously. So, we love soap. We love the smells, the different essential oils that are used to make soap, the different moisturizers. So, your shea butter soaps, the soaps with the tea tree oil and the vanilla and the rose. Soap is always going to be a big deal. So if you're passionate about making soap, people are going to buy it. They are. They're going to buy it even when shit hit the fan, even when it's a fallout. People going to want to buy a soap, whether it's made of glycerin, sodium lauryl sulfate, all of these different types. They're going to want to wash they behind. So the soap makers, if you have a passion for that, please go online and learn about soap making. Okay? So the next one that we have is your conjurers. Your hoodoo, your voodoo, which means spirit. Your conjurers are going to be a big deal in the fallout, the aftermath. Because people always going to want to manipulate energy and to have that greater understanding of the universe and to connect with the divine and the afterworld, the underworld rather. So conjurers are going to be important as far as divination, your tarot readers, your conjure oil makers, those who know we know about the fiery oil of protection, the St. John the Conqueror oil, all that's never going to go away. Never, ever. And that's embedded into the Black American culture. Your hoodoo. Hoodoo is a variation of juju, which is from West Africa. Okay, even voodoo, which we say is hoodoo. Which we say is voodoo. That again stems from West Africa. It traveled with us. Even when we couldn't write stuff down, we did it word of mouth. But your hoodoo, that's never going to go away. That has been in the South, the Black American South, for the last 500 years, and it's going to always be there. And a lot of us have it in your epigenetics and your memory consciousness, your cell memory consciousness. So people are going to want to go and get divination readings, and they're still going to want to go and manipulate energy to propagate justice, to get things working in their favors. That's always going to be around. So the next skill is going to be your midwifery, childbirth. One of the most sacred acts that can be done to bring another human soul into the third dimensional realm. And we know, this is a very important task, if not one of the most important, because if you don't have midwifery and you don't know how to bring in another human being into the world, then what? So it sounds so feminine, because Black women, you used to have the expertise, the domain over this. You used to really have the skill of midwifery for the last of 200 years, and things have been systematically put in place to make you forget about those midwifery skills. But those skills are going to come into place. I think they call them doulas now. But whatever the name is, that science of just simple making sure that the baby comes through the womb safely, that's going to be critical. Because don't think that there's some information out that I read about how when Black women give birth, their rates of infant death or even maternal mother death is like double or triple, solely because of the medical care they receive. Like, this stuff was presented to Congress on the rate of maternal death from just simple childbirth from black women, with no other factors being the reason except for racism. So we're going into a very dark age, literally the dark ages, the medieval ages. Okay, and if anybody knows some history about the dark ages, and what plunged them into the dark ages was what? The bubonic plague and the breakdown of feudalism. I see history repeating itself. I really do. And I see us going into a dark age because of that's just my speculation and just a prophecy. Doesn't mean it has to come true. Doesn't mean that what I'm saying is legit. But from me just studying history, it looked like that's where we're going. So yes, black woman, you need to know your midwifery skills. Even men who feel called, to that skill. If you feel that that's something you're passionate about, that's what you excited about, learn the midwifery. Learn, and it's kind of commonsensical because humans, you've been given birth for at least the minimum 3.5 million years through the time of Australopithecus, which was one of the first variations of the human species. If you go through that science, and then I believe it was Cro-Magnon, and then all this other stuff, and Homo sapien is where we're at now. But even if you don't, because we have other variations of origins at play here, and I don't make any judgments. I done read them all. So even if you think we're one of the ones that been here for at least 150 million years through the Anunnaki and all that, look, you never know. And there's a group where vibration, was high enough where we've been on the earth for 300 million years. All this stuff, all these different types of theories going around. So whatever you believe in, you've been given human birth for, at least on the physical realm, from what we can gather from science and through carbon dating. I forgot the name of it. It's like radiocarbon, something where you can look up the date of how long a species been on planet Earth through this sort of carbon radio something. So forgive me for not knowing the proper name. If you know the proper name, please put it in the comment section, because I have forgot. I read this stuff like 10 years ago. So carbon dating, that's what it's called. So if you from the physical realm, it's been at least 3.5 million years as far as the carbon dating that we have done. So you've been given birth that long, so you should know, just from being out in nature, what, 1 million years ago you didn't have no hospital. 1 million years ago you was giving birth out there, in some woods somewhere, in the forest, a tropical forest, with little to no tools. So, and you gave birth back then, so you should be able to give birth now. And you should be able to know how to do it, black woman. So, don't think that this is something that's going to be so hard for you to learn. And it probably will be like second nature, to be honest. It really will be. You got to cut that umbilical cord. The placenta got to come out. You either got to bury the placenta or dry the placenta out if you're going to eat it. And yes, people do eat their placentas, and that's been around for thousands of years as well, because of all the nutritions and vitamins inside of the placenta. So whether you're one of those people that's going to just bury it or burn it to make sure nobody can do no juju on it, so you're going to burn it, you're going to eat it, or you're going to bury it, so, and you're going to cut the umbilical cord, and, certain things, what to do. I don't know much about midwifery, but got to make sure the womb is dilated through a certain diameter. You got to make sure their blood pressure is not rising. Give them certain herbs to keep all that in check. Just certain things that you've been doing for over what? Again, like I said, through the time of Australopithecus, it's been around 3.5 million years. So you should know. and you're just through your epigenetics, to be honest. But if you don't, let's get the midwifery skills going, because that's going to be very important. And I'm sorry for being so long-winded and going on tangents, but midwifery skill is going to be a big one for the human race. Your next one is your alcohol. Knowing how to make alcohol. Again, the psychological aspects of creating, rubbing alcohol, and drinking alcohol, because people are going to drink. They are. And then, as you know, alcohol is also a disinfectant. So you want to get, I'm going to give you a simple recipe that you're going to have to look up. But from what I understand, you just, for as far as you're rubbing alcohol to make the isopropyl, 99%, you need sugar cane. So you need to get some sugar cane seeds, and you need yeast, and you need water. For your rubbing alcohol, you need about 3 tablespoons of yeast, 1 gallon of water, and I want to say 2 pounds of sugar. And again, that's the recipe that I have in my mind. Again, I try to photographically remember everything, but it's very hard to remember all this stuff. So if I'm telling you all these things, these videos have a varied range of topics. I literally have to remember all this stuff, write it down, take pictures of it. So from what I remember, I do know you need sugar cane seeds, and you need about 2 pounds of that sugar. You need about yeast. That is about that's about 3 teaspoons of yeast, and water. And you need to mix it all together. I don't remember if you boil it, but it needs to sit for around 2 weeks minimum. If you get the longer you let it sit, the higher the alcohol concentrate fumigates. And then you have, rubbing alcohol. Again, I don't know much about the drinking alcohol as far as, grape seeds or what other fruits that can be grown and fermented. A lot of these things can be fermented, even palm wine, grape wine, whiskey is from, I want to say, oak. So, learn them alcohol skills, because the people going to want to drink. I'm telling you, after this aftermath, come on. And I'm not saying, have these drunkard winos running around. We have to still have some sort of responsibility with it. But as far as the disinfectant aspect of it, I definitely see the value in that. But as far as the commercial aspect of it, the enterprise part where people are going to want to have a stress reliever during, they build in all of these. If you're taking what I'm saying serious, and if it gets to how I think it will get, as far as having to start from scratch, and people got to do their wood making and they electric, they're going to want to have a little drink after a nice day's of work. So that's always going to be in demand. And yes, you need to spend the next 3 to 6 months learning something about alcohol making, if you're passionate about it, and you won't regret it. Because you might find something, even if it don't get as bad as I think it's going to get, you'll still find something where that can potentially make you more self-sufficient as far as starting a business, But how I think and what I feel as far as for what what the black community is going to go through, not through, what global enterprise would, because people are going to look out for themselves. And I'm saying these skills are to look out for yourself in the event that you got to start over. You got to start from scratch. Ain't nobody coming to help you out. The electricity is cut off, the internet's cut off, the gas, everything's just cut off, and you don't know, what to do. So these skills are to start from bottom as far as your irrigation, your electricity, your shelter building, your IT, your soap making, your midwifery, your alcohol, disinfectant / recreational aspects of this thing. That's all it's about. And then the last one, which is very important. And again, there's many more. If you can state why that skill is important, don't just put something up there and don't tell us why. Just tell us why. Put it in the comment section, because we want to know. And of course, your gardening, that was covered in self-sufficiency video, where that should be pretty much everybody's skill as far as knowing how to grow something. So of course that one, you know, your textile making. If you got sewing machines, you need electricity to get the sewing machines going. So that's why I put electricity over there, over the textile. But obviously textile will be very important. So there's other ones that may not be included, but don't think that they're not important. So your last one is going to be your solar energy. Again, solar energy can run pretty much many things. Your solar energy can give you electricity. Solar energy can give you gas to cook food. Solar energy can give you things to run your computers and your calculators. So solar energy is going to be extremely important. It's extremely sustainable. The sun is the giver of all life. The sun, solar energy is going to grow your plants. Solar energy, I mean, there's just pretty much no way around it. And that's where the human race went wrong in the old paradigm. Was not, they couldn't profit off of the sun, so it was like, screw it. Because everything was about the profit. But we're going into the age where, what we're trying to wake up into. Again, you have different agendas at play, fighting for the minds of human consciousness and how the aftermath is going to look. And many of you are going to be duped. A lot of them people that's I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even going to say that. But again, there's many agendas at play. And we know people have tried to bring solar energy to the forefront thousands of years ago. And it never worked. What I'm saying now, as we know, solar energy provides wind energy. It's just, I can go on and on and on about the importance of the sun in relation to the human race, especially you, Black American, who is you melanated, who has you melanin, whose very existence is based off of the sun. So your solar energy panels, your solar energy electricity. I have seen people hook up solar generators to a damn Xbox with a lamp, okay, and play their Xbox with their lamp on. I've seen it with my own two eyes, and hook these things up to refrigerators. The solar panel, they use the solar panels and they hook it up to the generator. It's all connected, and I've seen them plugging in their damn refrigerators and stuff. So trust me when I say that this will be something very important to want to learn and to get a basic understanding of. So if you got a young kid in your household that's under 15, that can still be indoctrinated, that can still be raised up under a certain paradigm and principle. Being a group of principled people is the most important thing. Because none of this matters if you're not principled. None of these skills matter. I'm just going in one ear. I'm just blowing hot air, basically. It's just going in one ear and going out the next. If you cannot learn to be a principled group of people and have some type of standard and moral. We talk about morals under, the paradigm that you think is morals. That's not morals. It's not the way you think it is. The way you've been raised to think morals are. Self-preservation, putting yourself first and knowing how to damn survive. That's where you get your morals from these days. And of course, treating others how they treat you. Because we always learn about the inverse rule of treat others how you would want them to treat you. But if you have the contrasting aspect to everything, a polarity of the universe, then you know that what's the opposite of that, and what is the credible aspect of that. Not just the opposite, but what is the opposite and credible inverse of that rule. Treat others how they treat you. Okay? That's where we talk about forgiveness. Oh, you need to forgive, you need to forgive. God said this. You don't forgive nobody that don't have no remorse for what they did to you. What are you forgiving someone who don't feel they did nothing wrong? Are you stupid? So again, your thinking of morality is what got your ass at the bottom now. All of this Oh, forgive. I'm gonna turn the other cheek even when somebody is beating your ass and stumping you constantly, metaphorically, physically, spiritually. You think that, oh, I need to just forgive. But what you forgot and what was removed out of them religious texts that you love so much was, you don't forgive nobody that don't feel no remorse for what they've done to you. And everything you think you about to go into this new paradigm with, all of that fucked up thinking that you done had for the last 100 years, you're gonna be very sorry, because none of that's gonna work. And you're gonna be very much awakened. You're gonna have a very big awakening. And if you don't heed to what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is gonna come to you regardless if it's 50 years from now, whether it's 100 years from now, if you're still alive then, it's going to come to pass. Because I don't speak through just what my ego, human ego is saying. This is not just my Kali J.N.S. ego as far as my physicality speaking to you. I'm coming with ancient knowledge from things I've read 10,000 years ago, 5,000, 6,000 years ago, ancestors, spirit guides, and ascended masters. I'm not going to tell you something that, even if I don't understand it, if it's been given to me to give to you, I'm going to do it. You know? So, all I can say is, what's paramount, these skills, and I don't went on a tangent again, but these skills are going to intertwine with the very morality that it's going to be about your self-preservation and about the things you can do to rebuild and self-sustain. If you feel like that's not important, you can wait for someone. You can wait for some pie in the sky, or someone to come and save you, or someone to come and give you something. You know, you can wait. But eventually, it's going to hit you. And these skills that I'm telling you, and the skills that you know in your heart, like, is even if I don't list the ones that you feel comfortable with, that you are passionate about, rather, because you're supposed to be comfortable with some damn plumbing and some, like, come on, electricity. But the ones that just doesn't resonate with your passions or whatever, you know, your clock making. There's plenty of things. You're knowing how to build fires. All the knowing how to build fire. That's clearly something I wouldn't put in this video, because that is, again, something that we all need to be knowing how to build some damn fire and stuff. But you know what I mean, like the things that you know, even your sculpture, as far as your vases and just the things that humans like to do. You know what that is. The things that humans need to survive. We're going back to basics, because there will be a time where you need basics, because ain't nobody coming to save us. People gonna be having, all of that. I'm gonna take my cell phone out and film the injustice and film the inequality. As far as what you see other groups of people, they about to really flex. You're not gonna have any of those things, and no one's gonna care that you done recorded the inequality, basically, which is a lot of what I'm seeing now. These people is really ready to turn up. So you need to spend the next 6 months learning any type of skill that you can, so that when the rebuilding aspects come and when the aftermath come, you know how to play your role, your position. And again, don't think it's going to be everybody, because we got a lot of babiotes, we got a lot of haters, not of you but of themselves. So they don't like anything that reflects them doing anything good. You're gonna watch out for them too, and they are on the rise. They're gonna get in line too eventually, but don't spend any time trying to convince anyone of why you need to know what you know, or why you need to do what you need to do. Whoever it is, don't spend no time trying to. Don't do it. Promise me you're not going to do it. Promise yourself that you're not going to spend your time wasting it on swine. You know how they say, don't give your pearls to swine? That saying, that's where we're at right now. And there are many that's going to look like us that are going to perish. It is very sad. They are not going to make it at all. They don't have any knowledge of self. So I'm talking about how we got here and the maps of where it took to go and get us, as far as the homie tribe who sold us, the tribe of Benin, all of that. And it's not going to mean anything for me to go into the history of how we even got here, because I can do it. But for you, I will. For those who resonate with me, I will. Because you know it, you just need a reminder. But for those who just out of their mind, and you know what I'm talking about, you know the stuff we see on Twitter and Facebook, you know that shit, that crazy stuff we be seeing from these, to be honest. And I know I'm gonna take an L for this. I won't take an L. I will take hate for the truth. A lot of our black men, they not about that life, and they really don't care nothing about what I said. Anything about these critical skills, they will get angry that I even told them about skills. They will get angry that I even mentioned that we need a certain type of black men won't get mad, but a lot of them gonna get upset that I had the gall, the audacity to even to make a video about getting some critical skills, because they that far gone. So that is the truth of the matter. That is the will. And these prophecies that are to come will pass. Whether you want to, everything that I said will come to pass. Where every skill that I said, if you don't have it, some of us will. You're gonna see that, oh shit, I should have listened. Should have did something. Because ain't nobody coming to give you anything or do anything for you. You're gonna be on your own. You know, you can look at Katrina, you can look at the hurricane that happened in Houston. I seen what was going on in Houston, and I'll make a video about how, you know, these black women were stuck on roofs and having to have helicopters come lift them up when their own men was in the background looking, you know, ashamed because, you know, again, I done went off into tangents. I want you to learn these skills. They are paramount to your survival. They are paramount to the aftermath of what's coming on the macro and the micro level. So, these skills for your self-preservation are very important. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't tell you. Pick one, or again, put one in the comment section that you think and add your reasoning. And then you let the people decide, and you'll be good when the time comes, and you know you got one of them skills on that list that can help us get through the next stage, the next phase of humanity. So take heed, love yourself, and until next time.